Maxwell, will you read the motion back, please?
Yes, there's a motion to terminate the city manager's contract in accordance with Section 5, Paragraph C, Subsection A of the city manager's employment agreement dated January 6, 2014. This motion was made by Mr. Raddick and seconded by Mrs. Sweat.
Mr. Raddick, would you clarify the motion? Is that with reason, without reason?
Mr. Mayor, that would be with reason.
Okay, Mrs. Sweat, do you agree?
Yes.
Okay, city clerk clear on the motion?
Yes, sir.
And the court reporters clear on the motion? Okay, with that, I'm going to go ahead and call the vote.
Do we have comments now?
Just have
Does
comments.
city council have any comments?
You were given an opportunity to have your comments earlier.
After the public spoke, do we get a chance to just make comments at all? I'm just asking.
No, ma'am, the opportunity was given for council comments at the very beginning. We went around twice and everybody made their comments. So we closed council comments and went to public comments.
I'm just asking. You don't have
Oh, you will after the vote's taken, yes. There will be some announcements. Absolutely.
Since then.
Okay, well, that's the way the agenda reads, Mr. Bacon, I'm sorry.
Mayor, I hate to interrupt, but under Robert's Rules of Order, I would recommend that you let council have further discussion after they've heard public comment in case something raised an issue with them before you would take the vote.
Okay, with that being said, Mr. Bacon, go ahead.
After listening to all the public comments, I did have a couple of things I made notes of. They did mention that the investigation was done, and I believe under Mr. Jones' contract, he should be given time to cure. I think the contract reads he has 30 days to cure, and I don't believe, since we just received this information, like 5 days ago, 2 days before the hurricane was supposed to hit, or did hit, we didn't really have an opportunity to meet, to speak about, the investigation or to go over any of the items that were stated as a council until tonight. And I know on other things we've had lots of shade meetings with different things that have come up where we could speak to the attorney and go over different items relating to other employees, but that was not the case with Mr. Jones. So I'm just wondering if there is that in the contract where we need to give him the 30 days to cure and to give him back his position to see if he can make those corrections, and then we can bring it back if we feel that that did not happen. And then a lot of things were said that Mr. Jones did this, Mr. Jones did that. Well, Mr. Jones didn't do anything. He always brought ideas and visions back to the council, and the council voted. He didn't make the decisions himself to do these things. So if anybody's to blame, it's the council that's to blame. He did come to us with vision, and I think that's why he was probably hired, is that we're, I think, the second fastest growing city in Lake County, and we are going to be doing a lot in the next 5 to 10 years, and evidently he appeared to be the perfect person for that position because he did have vision. Although I have to say, in the last 6 months, a lot of the things that came to council were shot down. So we did a lot of micromanaging on his ideas and things that he would bring to us. And to this day, I don't know why some of these things happened when they did. And Mr. Gurley mentioned the contract again, and that was another situation, and he brought it up tonight, that a contract was renewed during public contract 8 months before it even came up for renewal, which doesn't seem right for council to do. And just to note it, I did not vote for that contract to be renewed. So that's all I have to say. And I hope in your hearts you really think about what you're doing tonight if you vote for Mr. Jones without giving him the opportunity, the fair opportunity to cure and come back to us with some answers from him so he can speak on his behalf.
Mr. Rathnick, do you have any further council comments?
Yes, I do, Mr. Mayor. Just for clarification in regards to the credit card issue. It is not about 17 credit cards. It is about the use of one credit card, false misleading information that was issued by Mr. Jones as a result of information given to him by Mr. former Chief Tennyson. It was the lack of clarification after Chief Tennyson was reprimanded. On 8/26, we got nothing as a council that clarified what had happened. Again, I found out about the reprimand through public records. Mr. Jones had from 8/26 to the first meeting in September when we first had the meeting with regards to his contract. It was never clarified. The other thing is important is although our residents, taxpayers, voters, etc., all have got the right to have their concerns heard, it is ultimately this 5-member board that have got to rely on the city manager for timely, relevant, and reliable information. And if it's not there, there's an issue. We need to bring out the light again. The board wanted to set the record straight with regards to the HR complaints, with regards to sexual harassment. Mr. Jones unilaterally made a decision to redirect the HR company to do something completely different than what we basically set out to do. My decision, and I believe our decision, has to be based on 13,000 people, many of which are not in the case tonight, not just a half a dozen or either way. I mean, it's got to be done with what's the facts in front of us. It was talked about curing. I don't think you can cure deleted USB drive information that's subject to public record laws. I don't think you can cure the fact that HR person was told to do something different. I don't think you can cure information that was not factual or misleading. Because if we could, it would have been done before the 2nd or 6th of September. So I think those are important things that we need to keep in mind as a group.
Mr. Griffin, do you have any additional comments?
The only comment I have was that we reinstate him to his former job and let him finish on his contract. That's the only thing I'll vote in favor of. Thank you.
Ms. Sweat, additional comments?
It's not about the credit cards. It's about all the other items that are in the investigative reports that Mr. Radzik has just spoken on. And he's right, we need to think about it and come to a decision because it is ultimately our responsibility.
Okay. A couple things I've got on the promotion of Mr. Lucas. It's not the fact of I was questioning his qualifications, whether it was not questioning his qualifications, whether I was questioning the ability of the city manager to promote an existing employee to a management or director position. What I question is under section 305 of the city ordinance, it clearly states the city manager has 72 hours to notify the council in writing of any promotion or termination of a city director. Mr. Jones failed to do that. Leading up to the time that it had taken place, the job was not posted as it should have been posted for anyone to apply for that may have been qualified or unqualified, but did not go through the proper process. To me, that did show signs of complete favoritism, and I'm quite sure that the city council or Mr. Jones would have been able to find a position for Mr. Lucas. The idea was not to eliminate the job. The idea was to eliminate that particular line item out of the budget from the aspect that we had made an agreement with an outside agency to do that function that would be able to do it much more efficient. They were very much better well equipped to do it than what the city was to do. We saw no point in having two people doing the exact same job. Those are my two biggest things. The fact with the credit card issue, and again, it was not the dollars that were spent, it was not when they were reimbursed, it was not anything else. It was a fact of one simple thing for me, And it was a very simple statement, how are we going to make this go away? Without even notifying the city council there was a problem in the first place. We found out there was a problem. The public records request that we were copied on. I personally don't believe when someone does a public records request or sends me a complaint about a city employee or a city staff or another city council member, I don't take that at face value. I personally went down and pulled the public records myself to verify each and every one of these accusations that was made in this particular public records request and found them to be true. The reason for the third party investigation that went into this, I wanted to make sure that we had accurate information, that what I was looking at was the same thing they were looking at. It was verified through a private citizen, it was verified through myself, it was also verified through the private investigations. There obviously was an attempt to mislead or cover up that by simply making a statement, how are we going to make this go away, knowing that the dollar amount that he listed in the original memo dated August 1st was incorrect. He did not even make any attempt to come to the council or send another memo out to any one of us stating the problem. We had to find out through the press and through public records requests from our citizens. There was no reason for me to not think there was an attempt to cover that up. The evidence proves to that, the email proves to it, the facts prove to it, the repayment proves to it, so I have no question in my mind about that. There's many other points of things that have gone on over the past years, and I have personally taken a lot of heat for a lot of mistakes that have made in the city. Someone spoke earlier about the amount of lawsuits that have happened in the city. I would like to make the public aware that there's not one member on this council that instigated any one of those lawsuits. Those fall within the administrative issue and within the city manager's realm. Mishandling of cases, mishandling of internal investigation reports, delays in internal investigation reports in the police department. When it got to a point we finally hired an outside agency to do so, Mr. Jones went directly behind our back and canceled their scope of work and told them to do exactly opposite of what we requested and never notified us of this. I was just notified of what had happened last week. There again, why did we ask that be done, instruct the city manager to do that, hire a company to do it, then he goes behind our back and tells them not to investigate, cancels the entire investigation. Why? Why did that happen? Why didn't he come to the council and say, council, I think we have an issue with this, let's discuss it, let's talk about it, let's work out something that'll work for everybody. But he never did any of the above. Mr. Jones is on the administrative side. Mr. Jones had a tendency to continually jump on the policy side of what we're doing. An instance that wasn't brought up tonight was real simple. There was an overcharge for water meters of $90,000 to new builders. There was a situation where the rate structure was incorrect. We recognized it was incorrect. The city council said leave the rate structure exactly the way it is until you get it corrected. Mr. Jones continued to charge the higher rate structure. I found out through it from a citizen that called me, and I was shocked when I went down and asked, what are we charging for installation of water meters on new construction? I was told a figure of $1,400, which was a wrong figure. I asked Mr. Jones, what are we charging? He says the old rate. I said, well, I was just told differently. I had to get every staff member involved and Mr. Jones in a room to get the truth. That resulted in a $90,000 refund in overcharges. I asked, why did that happen? I was shocked to find out Mr. Jones did not want to bring that back before the council because he said it would make him look like he didn't know what he was doing. It's not one item, it's not one issue. It's not moving the city ahead or moving the city backwards. This has nothing to do with the facts and the evidence that we're currently. Mr. Jones is a great visionary. I asked on many occasions, this council's asked on many occasions that Mr. Jones get referred to as get our house in order, get our departments functioning at peak efficiency. Then we can move on to these bigger projects. We can move on to amphitheaters. We can move on to splash park. We can move on to all kinds of different things. He has great vision for new city halls. He spent so much time on these other projects that he forgot to take care of the job that we hired him to do. With that, that's the only comment I've got. And again, we have a motion, since we had another round of council comments. And the rest, is that going to be all of them, or are we going to open it up again before I call the vote? Is everybody done on the council? Okay, I'm going to again ask Ms. Maxwell to read the motion back.
A motion to terminate the city manager's contract for reason in accordance with section 5, paragraph C, subsection A of the city manager's employment agreement dated January 6, 2014.
With that, I'll call the vote. Ms. Sweat, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Griffin, how do you vote?
Nay.
Mr. Resnick, how do you vote?
Aye.
Ms. McMicken, how do you vote?
Nay.
And the chair votes aye. Let the record note that the motion did pass and the city manager's contract has been terminated. And with that, if we've got any questions that were asked that I can answer now, I've got a few written down here. I'll be more than happy to do that. I have one from Mr. Sam Griffin. Is he still here? Okay, he's already done. With that, we'll go ahead and take a break until the all settles down, and then we'll answer any questions.
Yes, I know. Good to see you.
Ladies and gentlemen, everyone, if you're going to stay, please take your seat. Give you just a minute to take your seat if you would.
Excuse me? I'm racist? Really? I don't quite think so either. I'm racist? You hear this? I'm racist. Did you know that?
I will call you tomorrow.
You're a witch? I'm a witch?
Good night. Beat me at home. Good night. You don't want to start.
I'm not afraid of you. I'm not afraid of anybody.
All right, guys.
Trust me. You got the right one.
Oh, I don't need you. I mean, it's fine.
Okay, sorry about that. Under subsection section G, it's for the council notwithstanding provisions contrary herein, at all times the city council retains the discretion to provide a severance package, except for termination under misconduct as defined in section 443-06 for statutes. What I would like to know is the council would be interested in offering a severance package to state limits at the 6 weeks in return for a release from Mr. Jones.
Mr. Mayor, I think that's appropriate and good start.
Okay, can I have a motion on that?
Motion was for
To offer a 6-week severance package in return for release for Mr. Jones. Is that correct, Mr. Carson Carver? Did I word that correctly?
Yes, that's what's allowed under the contract. It's in your discretion to do that.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to offer Mr. Jones 6 weeks severance as indicated in the contract.
Council discussion on this?
I want to know what the motion reads.
It's a motion to offer Mr. Jones a 6-week severance package as indicated in his contract.
In return for release.
In return for a release.
What does the release mean? What does that mean? Per the agreement, there's a provision that provides council with discretion to offer the severance in exchange for, per the contract terms, a full waiver and release to be prepared by Groveland of all claims known or unknown against Groveland arising out of or relating to his employment with Groveland or termination thereof. And that's a contractual term that exists. I'm trying to understand it. It says, the city council retains the discretion to provide a severance package except for a termination for misconduct as defined in section 443.036 Florida statutes. And that's also addressed in the contract under sub F, but the termination was under sub A, so it's not for misconduct as defined. And so it says, at the time of termination, subject to an exchange for a full waiver and release to be prepared by Groveland of all claims known or unknown against Groveland arising out of or relating to his employment with Groveland or termination.
Other council questions on that item? Any public comment on that item? Hearing none, I'll call the vote. Ms. McMicken, how do you vote?
Aye.
Ms. Sweat, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Razak, how do you vote?
Aye.
And the chair votes aye. With that, is there any further council announcements?
Not so much an announcement, but a question as to where do we go from here? Do we get a workshop together to figure out qualifications and parameters for a new city manager search? What's next?
I would recommend that you think about that from now until your next council meeting. And if the agenda hasn't gone out, we could perhaps make that an agenda item, just a discussion item for you to give direction on how you want to proceed.
Other council announcements? Ms. McMicken? Okay, and I have none either. It is 20 minutes till 9, and we'll adjourn the city council meeting for the city of Groveland.
but that's my fault.
If you know how much I sorry I left down England, I can do back here with my children.
I had my neighbor send me
Wait a minute, Teresa.
send me photos of the house.
What we call it? It's not a flat. You know what this house is to you?
No. I had a property.
And what the city is doing? The city gives you, city doesn't find you?
Yeah, they have me. I haven't had a chance to go.
Book a ticket for me and let me go look it down for you.
Look at that. That's going up to my front door. I mean, I don't know how the neighbors will put up. I'll be all right. But see, I didn't see this because when I Googled the house on Google search, it don't look like that.
No, you'll see what the picture was at the time when they had taken the picture.
But they took this picture today. So I can't be upset with nobody but myself. I like, see, the earliest I can go is like,
You don't have any children over there?
yeah, I do have a daughter
There's nothing daughter who went to see them.
no, I have another one. So there's 35, well, let me get on to the house.
Last meeting was not over until like what, 9:30 or 9:40 or whatever it was, and I could not even. So we had a
Mama's name.
say pack it up and pack it in.
Okay.